Yo, it's your boy WesTheTech here to bring you another one of my personal favorite tech tips to help you as an artist growing your craft. Now, today we're going to go over how to copyright your music in 2023, all right? So if you're a recording artist who's looking into getting your music copyrighted in 2023, all right, then this is the perfect video for you because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, all right? Now, when it comes to copyrighting your music, I'm going to be honest with you guys, all right? It's a little bit tricky because there's a lot of different ways to kind of more or less copyright it without actually copyrighting it, all right? Now, what I mean by that is doing the actual copyright process, on copyright.gov is the primary way to copyright your music, all right? If you're trying to have an official copyright of your music, you would have to go to copyright.gov, all right, and you would submit a request to copyright your music. You would actually have to pay a fee for submitting the form, and you got to do that for every single song and so on and so forth when it comes to copyrighting your music. That is the actual way to copyright your music, all right? However, as I don't remember what year it was, but a couple of years back, they actually gave you an alternative to actually submitting a copyright, or in other words, other ways to prove that you have ownership to a song, even if you don't have a copyright. So if you're a beginning artist, this is very, very important because a lot of times when you're a beginning artist, you may not want to pay for the amount that you have to pay for to get each and every single one of your song copyrighted, all right? Because it can get expensive really, really quickly, especially when you're not making any money yet off of your music, all right? So what are those other methods that count as copyrighted, that count as ownership, that count as being able to prove that you own this song in court, other than the actual going through the copyright process and getting that little C logo? Well, there's actually two other alternatives to it. For me in particular, I really say one because I feel like both of those, the other two things, you could have both of those easily, all right? It's not like it's hard to do one or the other. So essentially, all you would essentially have to do is, the first thing you want to do is you want to actually own your masters, all right? Having your masters is another form of having the copyright or having the ownership to a song. Owning the masters literally means that you own the physical copy of your song, all right? Now, when you hear physical copy, I'm not saying that you actually have to have a CD. I'm not saying that you actually have to have the MP3 of the song on your flash drive or in your phone. When I say the physical copy, what I'm actually referring to is the physical copy of the actual recording session. Meaning that if you recorded your song on Pro Tools, then you actually have the original Pro Tools file that the song was recorded on. That is in fact what your masters is called. That's the master. It's the master file. It's the original file of the song. If you currently have that, then you currently have the masters to your song. You currently own the song. You currently have the ownership to the song. Now, if you're an artist who recorded your song at a recording studio and they still have the original recordings and you don't, they actually own the copyrights to your music because you do not have the ownership. You do not have that file. You need to go get that file. I stress to every single one of my artists, make sure you bring a flash drive. Let me know when you want these files because I will send it to you. I actually own a recording studio and I let artists know this all the time. Make sure that you're in control of your masters. Make sure you own your masters. Make sure you have that ownership because, like I said, if you don't have the money to actually put in a copyright, but right now, you can easily get the masters by just having the original files that you recorded the music on. If it was originally recorded on Logic, just get that original session file that contains all your vocals that you recorded on the song, all of that. That is your masters. That is another proof of ownership. That is something that can also hold up in court when it comes to the copyright of the song, all right? With that file, it shows you the date that it was created. It shows you when it was modified. It shows you all of those things by default. All right. So this is another form of copyright that you can have in the meantime if you don't feel like going through the actual copyright.gov and paying for each song and everything like that. I'm not saying do one over the other. At some point in time, it's always good to have that extra layer of protection. So it's always good to eventually go to copyright.gov and do those things. But if you don't have that right away, don't worry, because as long as you have your masters, you'll be good. All right. Now, another way that you could kind of prove your ownership when it comes to copyrights to a song is actually filling out or registering that song with a performing rights organization, or for short, the acronym is a PRO. All right. Now, when I'm referring to PROs, I'm talking about websites like BMI or ASCAP or CSAC when you're talking about the US. Obviously, if you're from another country, you're gonna have a different PRO, because PROs vary depending on the country. The 3 PROs that I just listed, those are just in the US, all right? But essentially what that stands for is the Performing Rights Organization. Once you register your song to a Performing Rights Organization, you register yourself as the writer, the original writer of the song, as the original performer of the song. When you are registering that song with that PRO, once that gets processed and that gets submitted and that is successfully received, that is another proof of ownership of the song. All right. So to make it short, you have the master, your masters, which is the original files, and you have the registered song on a performing rights organization. If you have the masters, but you haven't signed up for a PRO yet, this is a good time to do so. Go to BMI.com or ASCAP, sign up for it, get registered, register your song with them so that you have that extra layer of protection. If you don't really have the funds to do it now, don't do ASCAP, because ASCAP actually has a sign-up fee. BMI is absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything to sign up for BMI, so you can literally do that today to add that layer of protection onto your song, all right? But those are essentially the other 2 things that it counts as recognition for ownership of your music. So you don't actually have to, in fact, go through the whole copyright.gov to prove that you own a song. So if somebody tries to steal a song from you and you haven't done copyright.gov yet, don't worry, don't go crazy. As long as you have those masters, you're okay. As long as you set up your BMI or your ASCAP, you're okay. Now, if you don't have any one of those 3 things, then they can get your master file and they could sign up on the BMI before you do, proving it's theirs, and they do the copyright.gov, then you might be in some trouble. Hopefully they have very similar voice than you and they can prove that there are the vocals on that song. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some crazier things happen, but essentially you just want to make sure that you at least have those 2 things in place when it comes to having your masters and signing up for a PRO to really protect yourself when it comes to the copyright of the song, all right, before you can actually do the copyright.gov, all right? But again, once you get to a certain place, all right, and you start getting some big money coming in, it's always good to have that extra layer of protection to do the copyright.gov, so you have that locked in as well, all right? Like I said, it's not absolutely the only way to prove ownership, but it is a good thing to have when you could afford it, all right? Now that I said all of that, I also wanted to mention when it comes to YouTube, when you see copyright infringement and you see all of those things, none of those 3 things that I just mentioned count towards it. Well, I'll take that back. Copyright.gov does count towards that, but the other 2 don't. What you would actually have to do is get a YouTube content ID, and that'll basically protect other people on YouTube from using your music. All right. If you want to know more information on the YouTube content ID, click on the link above. That's a video of me talking about YouTube content ID, how to get it, and all of those different things. So if you want a better explanation on that, just watch that video and that'll basically break that down for you. I wanted to keep this video short, so I'm not going to go deep into that. All right. But that's pretty much it when it comes to copyrighting your music as of 2023. Of course, you know, other people have their own opinions on there as far as, oh, you have to go to copyright.gov and this, that, and the third. I'm just telling you what the law is. As far as the law is concerned, if you have your masters, that counts as a form of ownership. That counts as a copyright just as much as signing up on copyright.gov is. All right, this is why you hear a lot of artists argue And, a lot of artists want their masters back from these big record labels because they want to own it. And obviously the record label doesn't want to give it back because the record label still wants to claim ownership of the song. All right, that's why you see these wars when it comes to who owns the masters and things like that happens. All right, but that's essentially it. I just wanted to do this quick video to just explain the copywriting thing when it comes to, just copywriting your music as of 2023. All right, now, of course, this could always change in the future. This is just what it is as of right now. So you know what it takes to copyright your music. You know what you need to have to prove ownership of your song. Just make sure that you have some of those things checked off. All right, but that's pretty much it. All right, if you guys have any additional questions in regards to music business, music industry tips, or anything related to music whatsoever, feel free to leave comments in the comment section below, because I'm here to help you out as an independent artist. Also, if you're looking into leaving that 9-to-5 job so that you can do music full-time like myself, then I strongly urge you to grab this ebook here, the 13 steps to jumpstart your music business, because in this book I literally lay out all the steps that I took to put myself in a position to leave my 9-to-5 job so that I could do music full-time. And I want you to be able to do the same thing. That's literally my dream for every independent artist, to literally live out your dream by just doing music full-time. All right, so if you want to know the roadmap on how to do that, definitely grab that ebook there. It's worth the while. All right, but that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace. Yeah, I made it every day. I'm celebrating.